The events of the Abyssinian crisis. In December 1934, a clash had occurred between Italian and Abyssinian soldiers at a place called Walwal. Walwal was found somewhere here on the map. Okay. There was some loss of life. The dispute went to the League for a decision, as it should have done, but it was perfectly clear to everybody that Mussolini was planning a full-scale invasion later, either this year or more likely back into 1935. He starts to build his troops up, as you can see from the arrows, on the border between Abyssinia and Italian Somaliland. In Britain at the time, a peace ballot was held, and that demonstrated overwhelmingly that the British people believed that the League of Nations will keep the peace. The British Foreign Secretary, Samuel Hoare, made a speech which made it appear that Britain might support the idea of any collective security, i.e. getting our armies together, if there was an act of aggression. In spite of this, the Italian forces on the border with Abyssinia do invade on the 3rd of October 1935. Mussolini claimed he was trying to civilise the Abyssinian people. So the question now turns to response. There is no doubt that the invasion was a clear act of aggression committed by a big country against a smaller one. Under the League rules, action has now to be taken. On top of that, Italy and Abyssinia were relatively close to the main countries of the League. They weren't on the other side of the world like Manchuria and Japan were, so action had to be taken, it has to be effective. Much to Mussolini's surprise, the League condemn the invasion as an act of aggression, and they decide to use sanctions. Now, sanctions simply are using economic means to force a country to back down because they'll be losing out on a lot of money. On top of that, they want Mussolini as an ally against Hitler. They don't want to upset him. So in the end, there are limited sanctions on Italy. Vital goods that Mussolini actually needed for the invasion, such as oil, coal and iron and steel, they weren't part of the sanctions. The USA, who was not in the League, could trade freely anyway with Italy, so they supplied oil, and France continued to give the iron and steel, and Britain kept supplying the coal, all because they were so worried about their own personal industries back home and the threat of Adolf Hitler. Britain and France could also have stopped Italy's ease of movement by closing the Suez Canal. You can see from this map, although it's going from Britain, how far you have to go if the Suez Canal is shut. You have to go all the way round this line here, whereas the Suez Canal, which cuts off here, allows you to cut off the difference and make much faster. So for Italy, they want to get to here. It was very, very quick. Britain and France they owned that Suez Canal. They could have shut it at any point to make at least the difficult journey for Mussolini all the way around Africa. They refuse. They put their own selfish interests and the worry of Hitler before any of the League and of the Abyssinians. This wasn't collective security by what Wilson thought. It was individual countries' self-interest. Just when people thought the League couldn't be more ineffective, the British Foreign Minister and the French Prime Minister, Samuel Hoare and Pierre Laval, drafted a secret agreement. Now remember, these were banned under the Treaty of Versailles. That's what a League of Nations, that's what Wilson wanted got rid of. The Laval Pact said to Italy, you can have 2/3 of Abyssinia without any consultation with the Abyssinian government. The idea would be you would get the good 2/3 of it, the Abyssinians will get the bad 2/3 of it, but will you please stop the war? A, because it's not really fair on the Abyssinians, and also because Adolf Hitler is getting stronger and stronger every day. This might well have been accepted by Italy, but someone leaked the agreement out to the press, and the uproar in Britain made Samuel Hoare resign because people were so outraged that they were helping the aggressor and not helping the person who was vulnerable. Eventually, in May 1936, the Italians captured the capital of Abyssinia, Addis Ababa, and the Emperor Haile Selassie made one more plea to the League of Nations for help, but the war was finished. Italy had won. Abyssinia became part of the Italian Empire, but the effect on the League of Nations was disastrous.